What's going on, everybody? Welcome to NASCAR Coast to Coast on the Motor Racing Network, where we discuss all things short track racing and NASCAR regional racing from coast to coast. We're taking the show on the road this week. My name is Chris Wilner, MRN Pit Reporter, currently in Texas, but we got a lot to talk about on the heels of Darlington this past weekend. With Throwback Weekend, of course, it was really cool to see some of the odes to NASCAR regional racing and short track racing from some of the stars in the NASCAR National Series. I think we saw Ryan Ellis in the Xfinity Series throw it back to his Bandolero days, Christopher Bell to his first car owner in sprint car racing, Rick Ferkel. There were quite a few out there, so it was really cool to see some of the drivers giving a nod to the racing of yesteryear, of their early parts of their career and kind of where they came from. So really cool experience down there in Darlington, really good racing as well at the Lady in Black. And we continue on to Bristol this weekend, a short track that a lot of our regional racers grew up racing around or at, especially when it comes to the ARCA East Series. So really cool stuff. This week on the episode of NASCAR Coast to Coast, Cole Butcher joins us, who is red hot with the ASA Stars National Tour and the super late model. He has won the last two races as he hopefully contends for a championship this year. A very similar start to 2025 as he did last year in 2024. So going to be really exciting to see what he has to say. A new dad as well this year, so get to pick his brain. We'll have Cole Butcher coming on a little bit later in the show. But before we get to Cole, let's take a quick look back at last week. And really last couple days, ARCA Menard Series, West Series was back in action while we were down in Darlington, South Carolina. They were out way west at Tucson Speedway, that is, in Arizona. What a thriller, by the way. If you stayed up late to watch this race, holy cow. Three wide finish for the win. 13 cars was only on the entry list, but it didn't matter because they put on a show out there in the 150 lapper at Tucson. But at the end of the day, it was Tyler Reif who started third and then challenged for the lead with Eric Johnson Jr. and Jake Bowman. The gap at the start-finish line as Tyler Reif made it three wide there at the final lap was just 0.189 seconds. That was the difference between those three cars at the start-finish line. So fans out there at Tucson, or for those that tuned in on Flow Racing, were certainly treated to a thriller of a race. And, of course, Tyler Reif getting his sixth career win, and really cool opportunity for him to get to another ARCA West Series win. So really good race. Johnson and Bowman both having career best nights as well. So want to give a tip of the cap to them, putting on spectacular performance. And the ARCA West Series rolls on now, a few races into the season, as they'll now be off for basically almost a month, actually a little over a month. Their next race is coming up May 24th at Colorado National Speedway. So a little bit of a break for the ARCA West drivers. Of course, ARCA East is coming up at a really exciting racetrack for us, the return of the Rockingham Speedway. Myself will be there along with the Motor Racing Network crew coming up in a couple of weeks, Saturday, April 19th. So good stuff for the ARCA West Series. Of course, we mentioned the car count was down about 13, but it didn't matter because the drivers that showed up were the drivers that put on a show, and it was really good stuff. So congratulations to Tyler Reif. Again, some other winners over the weekend. Wyatt Miller, we talked about him, the grandson of Dale Earnhardt, and of course Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s nephew and son of Kelly Earnhardt Miller and LW, picked up his second straight win at Hickory in the limited late model division. Getting to watch this kid run dirt micros has been fun, but seeing him adjust now to the late model side has been nothing short of spectacular. And I think he's going to be a real force to be reckoned with as he gets more experience. And of course, a shoe-in at Junior Motorsports in their late model program. Maybe we'll see him in a late model stock before too long for Wyatt Miller, but congratulations to him. Connor Hall, of course, our defending NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly national champion from last year, of course, leading the Cars Tour late model stock points this year as well. He went out to Langley Speedway on opening night and did what he does best, and that's win at Langley. So he's already off to a good start in his pursuit of a second straight national championship, winning there at the Langley Speedway. So really, really good start to his season. Rocket Man Ryan Newman, by the way, those of you, speaking of throwback NASCAR, was out at the Smart Modified Tour race and also put on a good show out there at Rougemont. The Rumble in Rougemont is what they're calling it. Really nice job at Citrus County getting the job done with the Smart Modified Tour. A really good move that he put on a couple of youngsters, by the way. Of course, Ryan Newman being the wily veteran. 14-year-old rookie, Paulie Hartwig III. Yes, 14 years old. He's running in 8th grade for a Smart Modified Tour Championship. Came up 1 spot short to Ryan Newman, and then Michael Christopher finished 3rd in that race. So a couple of youngsters in that one at the Rumble in Rougemont. Joey Coulter, the 4th, and Luke Baldwin round out the top 5 in the Smart Modified Tour. And then Cole Butcher, of course, our guest this week, getting the ASA Stars Tour win by getting the win, the Appalachian Sucker Punch 250 presented by Jones Utilities at Dominion, the first time they've ever been there to that racetrack in Dominion. So we'll get his thoughts on that. So congratulations to Cole Butcher. Some news over the weekend. Dale Jr., of course, if you follow along on social media, you probably already know the story of kind of starting to build up his late model schedule for this year when he gets back behind the wheel. Well, that famous Sundrop car will be back, this time at Tri-County Speedway in October. They unveiled the new look for the Sundrop car, so a little bit different. Not the white number 8. It's going to be the red number 8 this time. A little bit mixture, different with the red and green, but a really, really good-looking race car as Dale Jr. will be back behind the wheel of a late model stock coming up in October. And then, of course, you're probably wondering, we still haven't talked about the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Mother Nature just has something against the tour this week, I guess, because Thompson rained out yet again. They have now pushed the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour to April 16th. So just over a week from now, we will see the tour back at Thompson. So we're going to race at Thompson at some point. The question is when, and hopefully it's going to be April 16th. So now not 1 but 2 rescheduled events for the tour. But again, this time of year up in New England, weather is unpredictable. So we'll see if they can get it in. But I know the Stars will be back in full force. I expect no changes to the entry list on that one. Speaking of Cole Butcher and his big win out at Dominion 2-4-2 the last 2 weeks for the ASA Stars National Tour, he is standing by on the other end of this break as we're going to talk to Cole and pick his brain about all things super late model racing. That's coming up next here on NASCAR Coast to Coast on the Motor Racing Network.
3, 2, 1, start your engine!
The NASCAR channel is streaming now, exclusively on Tubi.
Tell them we got it.
Go deeper into NASCAR with 24/7 news, documentaries, and explore the vault of timeless NASCAR stories and unforgettable races. From crushing defeats to the thrill of victory.
Go, baby!
The NASCAR channel, always on, always free. Only on Tubi.
Welcome back to NASCAR Coast to Coast on the Motor Racing Network. As promised, joining us now, the winner of not 1 but 2 races in the ASA Stars National Tour. Back-to-back, it's Cole Butcher, driver for the Wilson Motorsports team in the car number 28. Cole, obviously a great start to the season, but how about Dominion? First time the tour has been there. What were your thoughts? Obviously pretty good as you came out on top.
Yeah, beautiful facility, great area, to be honest. Great crowd, just really no complaints at all. It's kind of cool having such a beautiful facility, you know, with the bar, with just everything great for the fans, and like 200 feet up the hills, a hotel. So worked perfectly for my wife, my little 7-month-old, and my baby. So I really have no complaints at all.
Yeah, how is life now for you, juggling as now 2 young kids, and then being on the road as much as you are with the tour and running other stuff? I know you got Pensacola and Mobile coming up. So as a dad, how do you juggle it all?
It's difficult. My wife wants to kill me 99% of the time, but yeah, we make it work. They love going to the racetrack. They love traveling. He's probably been on an airplane probably 10 times right now. So he does really good. I don't think he quite knows what's going on yet, but it was pretty cool to get my picture taken with him the other night. That was the first time I was able to experience that, and that was actually one of my bucket list goals, was to do that. So I'm just grateful that I was able to check that one off the box.
Before we kind of get into season, I know we talked to drivers on the NASCAR side too, like Bubba Wallace, who just had his son Bex, but what does being a dad do as far as change your perspective as a race car driver than maybe it was before you were a father?
I feel like I've calmed down a lot, maybe gained a little bit of patience. I know that I might have been lacking that in previous years, but just kind of gives you a different perspective on life, that it's not just you anymore. It's you and your little boy, and you know, my wife, obviously. So yeah, life's been fun. It's been an adventure, and every day is just something new.
So Dominion was your 6th career win of the season. You took the lead from Jake Garcia with 80 laps to go, kept your pace against Derek Thorne and the rest of the field. What has it been, I guess, what's it been like kind of to start the season the way you guys have had? It's been very equal to last year, so do you feel like you kind of have that same kind of mojo and success and confidence this year as you did at this point last year?
I feel like the confidence level is honestly a lot higher. I've been working out a lot lately. I've been going to Toyota, the Performance Center, quite a bit lately, at least 4 to 5 days a week, and I feel like that just helped me in general with my fitness, my mental, just how I look at things. So I feel like I got to give a lot of credit to those guys. But just things in general, I feel like things are just flowing really good with my team at Wilson Motorsports, and I think honestly the 22 and the 24, we all have a lot of confidence in ourselves and our crew and just everybody there. So I feel like everything's just meshing really good.
I know last year you missed some races. You had a heart procedure. Obviously frustrating, right? When you're in the middle of a successful season and you have to focus and take time away to focus on your health. What challenges did you face? And I guess how are you feeling now? I mean, you mentioned you're working out, your mental space is good, but what was last year like for you?
I mean, honestly, other than just having the procedure, life was pretty well the same. I was just on blood thinner, so that prevented me from racing. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I think my heart's doing really good. No really issues after the procedure. I haven't really gone into any AFib or anything like that. So yeah, life's good right now. No really complaints. Feel really healthy. Feel really motivated to go to the racetrack and win.
And so far, so good with 2 wins on the season. Where is the Stars Tour as far as competition level in 2025? I feel like last year we had a lot of time Majeski in and out, you guys battling for wins. This year you've got a young teammate, Gavin Bochelle, up there in the points battle, but then you have the Steven Nasseys, the Bubba Pollards. Where is the strength of the tour this year, you think?
Yeah, there's a lot of good guys racing. You look at your Carson Browns, he's hungry. Steven Nasse, Bubba Pollard, Gavin Bochelle. I mean, they're all hungry for wins. Derek Thorne. There's about 5, 10 guys on that series that can win at any given moment, as long as everything aligned correctly. So, yeah, I take these wins one at a time because you never know when you're going to get the next one, and that's how competitive this series is. And not just this series, super late model racing in general is just tough. It's very tough. Which kind of is why we do it because it's so fun and it's so rewarding here in the end.
It's tough for sure, but I know with the rise of late model stocks, where is the health of just super late model racing? Do you feel like some guys are going away from it, or do you feel like the health of super late models are just as good as the late model stocks?
I feel like it's kind of the same old. I don't really think we've lost anybody or really gained anybody, to be honest. I feel like this ST3, ST1 tire has kind of made the playing field maybe a little bit more equal, a little bit more towards the pro late model guys that are coming through the ranks. They feel like they can get a handle on things a lot faster than, for instance, back in 2016 when I jumped into a super late model. You had to put an egg under the throttle pedal for half the race and then you could go, which is right now you're just going right off the get-go. So um maybe this tire has made it a little bit more easier for the younger generation coming up to the field, but yeah, we still have 650 horsepower under our belts and you still got to maintain your tires to be there at the end. But I feel like our sport's in a healthy place. I think everybody on the ASA Stars National Tour has done a great job with sponsorship, promotion, and track TV. So yeah, I feel like everything's pretty healthy. I don't really see it any other way.
I think also too one of the unique aspects of your career is being from Nova Scotia. How the heck do you catch the racing bug, and how do you get to be where you're at when there's not a ton, going up in your neck of the woods as far as where you're from?
Yeah, it's funny you say that actually. Like, I could go home right. I live in Mooresville right now. Been here for 3 years now, but I could go home and race 20, 30 times if I really wanted to. We actually really have a good series up there between the Super Late Model Series and the Maritime Pro Stock Tour and some other races. If you want to go past race or if you want to go race with the Granite State race, I mean, within 10 hours of where I was raised, you could do a lot of pro late model race and not necessarily super late model race. And so, very fortunate to be where I am today to have a family that loves to race and support me. And yeah, it's just fun. I've been doing this for a long time now, and yeah, it just never really gets old.
Do you like living in Mooresville? Obviously, NASCAR's backyard. There's a lot going on, but I'm sure it's a little different from where you grew up.
Oh yeah, the weather's nice. I mean, it's kind of frustrating. This morning it was cold, and then I don't know if I need to put shorts on right now or take my hoodie off like that. I just don't know what to do. But yeah, Mooresville life is really good. It's very convenient for what we're trying to do with racing. Like I said, with the Toyota Performance Center, just 10 minutes from where I live. It's just everything's very easily accessible.
When you look at the schedule for the rest of the year for the Stars National Tour, obviously we've got Hickory coming up, but what kind of sticks out? What tracks do you have circled as far as ones that you're either excited to go to or feel like those are the ones I should win?
All of them, honestly. I feel like Newport's kind of a question mark for everybody. Hickory's kind of my bread and butter. Slinger I've never been to, so I feel like it's kind of like an Anakin-ish Riverside Speedway that we have at home. Maybe not as fast, but honestly, all of them. I feel really confident in our program. And I know my team's going to give me the best race car they possibly can. So, we just have to do our homework and put our heads down and hopefully collect a little bit more checker flags. But honestly, all the racetracks we should be good at.
Finally, before we let you go, obviously we've seen the last couple of years a lot of the short track racers and NASCAR regional racers getting opportunities at the next level. Being a Toyota, department or being in the Toyota fold this year with Wilson Motorsports, you see guys starting to get truck opportunities. Is that kind of the next step for you? Would you like to be a part of NASCAR National Series in your future, or what does the next couple of years look like for you?
No, for sure. I mean, honestly, I feel old compared to some of these kids, but yeah, we definitely like to dabble on the truck series. Financially, it's tough, but we're working on some deals right now and with some partners to hopefully make something happen at the end of the year. But like I said, I have a beautiful wife at home, a beautiful little boy, so I'm going to enjoy that. And if I get the opportunity to move up the ranks, great. If not, then I guess I'm just going to enjoy life with my family.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. And one that came to mind was Gio, because Gio was almost in your same department as well with Toyota and running late models, and now he's in the truck series. He's actually doing pretty well. What'd you think of Gio Rogero's kind of early start to his career?
Yeah, I'm very proud of Gio. Gio's grown up a lot just in the last number of years. So we talk at least a handful of times a week. If we usually work out a couple times a week at TPC. If not, I'll send him a text or we'll go get a bite to eat. But I'm very close with him and his spotter. And yeah, Gio's doing a great job, and we look forward to seeing him race throughout the whole year. And hopefully he gets into victory lane.
Well, Cole, I appreciate your time. Best of luck the rest of the season. Congrats on the early couple of wins. I know there's plenty more as we roll through 2025.
Well, perfect. I appreciate your guys' time, and hopefully we get to do this again soon.
Sounds like a plan. Cole Butcher, Wilson Motorsports, 2 wins to start the ASA Stars National Tour. Next up for them, Hickory on May 22nd. Still to come, the calendar here on NASCAR Coast to Coast. Don't go anywhere.
3, 2, 1. Start your engine.
The NASCAR channel is streaming now, exclusively on Tubi.
Tell them we got it.
Go deeper into NASCAR with 24/7 news, documentaries, and explore the vault of timeless NASCAR stories and unforgettable races. From crushing defeats to the thrill of victory. The NASCAR channel, always on, always free. Only on Tubi.
Thanks, Cole Butcher, once again for joining us on NASCAR Coast to Coast, and welcome back as we dive into what's coming up on the NASCAR regional and short track schedule for this week as we sit here on Thursday, April the 10th. The Smart Modified Tour, we mentioned Ryan Newman getting the win, his first of the year at Rougemont, their battle at Rougemont last week. Well, they're back at it with the third annual Hickory 100 at Hickory Motor Speedway, not too far away from the Concord, North Carolina studios for MRN. Saturday this weekend, points leader Luke Baldwin will be there, as well as Paulie Hartwig III. We mentioned the 14-year-old Jake Crum, Ryan Newman, Burt Myers, and a whole field is expected. We're still waiting on the entry list officially, but it's going to be a good one. Hickory always provides really great racing, whether you're talking about late models or, of course, the ground pounders and the modified, just the way that racetracks age, the bumps, getting off in turn 4. And, of course, it's in NASCAR's backyard. It's where the stars are made at Hickory Motor Speedway. So excited for that on Saturday. If you can make it up there, do so. I believe it's also on Flow Racing as well, the Hickory 100 for the Smart Modified Tour. ZMAX Cars Tour, the Byron Superstore 225 or Cordele Motor Speedway. It's just late model stocks this weekend. Of course, on the heels of Wake County, where we saw Minnie Tyrell just go wire to wire with the late model stocks. He is back this week as well, but it's the first time the Cars Tour has visited the Watermelon Capital Speedway in Cordele, Georgia. So another first for short track racing. Of course, we talked about Dominion with the ASA Stars National Tour. Now it's Watermelon Capital Speedway for the late model stocks, and it'll be a challenge for a lot of these drivers that have not been there in either some time or ever. Of course, the first time the tour is here, but Connor Hall, who of course leads the points by 13 over Ronnie Bassett Jr. Those two expected to be some favorites. I expect Doug Barnes to have a good run as well. He's in the top 5 in points so far. Cade Brown, and of course I mentioned Wake County winner Minnie Tyrell, all in the mix as well. And then not to mention a couple of our rookies doing a nice job as well, including Lainey Bice, who we had on the show last week, but expected to be there in her lead Pulliam Performance machine. So Cars Tour back in action as well. Of course, the lead up to the announcement last week, we're getting close to them being on FS1 at North Wilkesboro Speedway, the first time the tour has been on national television. That's coming up next month. So trying to build some storylines for that, and the next one on the docket is coming up this weekend at Cordele Motor Speedway. So Watermelon Capital out there this weekend. Some other weekend events going on. Of course, NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly National Championship is well underway for a lot of the local tracks opening. The next one to open is South Boston Speedway. A lot of our national champions coming from either Langley, South Boston, or Dominion. Their weekly show opens up this weekend, as well as Langley continues their weekly shows. And then Cars Tour West. Don't forget, they have a West Coast tour. The Cars Tour West is out at All America Speedway coming up this weekend. MRN is off the air as far as the Motor Racing Network is concerned this weekend, have a weekend off, but the NASCAR Racing Network is back to cover the tough trucks of NASCAR at the Bristol Motor Speedway. That's coming up this week, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Friday. You can listen to the coverage of the Weather Guard truck race at Bristol. The high banks of Bristol Motor Speedway always is one of the great truck races of the year. And, of course, all the stars will be there, and you can hear that again on the NASCAR Racing Network this weekend. And, of course, we'll be back on the Motor Racing Network for coverage from Rockingham. The Rocks return in 2 weeks' time out there in Rockingham Speedway. So I want to thank Cole Butcher for joining us here this week as we take the show on the road. A little business to take care of out here in the Lone Star State, but we'll be back in the studio next week. For our producer, Pat Jaggers, my name is Chris Wilner. Thank you for tuning in to NASCAR Coast to Coast on the Motor Racing Network. We'll see you next week.